now, and you get some voting done, because this is just
it's ridiculous.
Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Nolan Arenado sits 4th right now in 3rd base of voting in the National League for the All-Star
have
game.
almost 2 million votes.
I'm sorry, how can Chris Bryant, who's played like 1 game, well, okay, a little more than that, but seriously.
We're talking about a guy who makes the plays, ridiculous plays look easy. He's the best 3rd baseman in the game.
Like, you want him to start the
you
All-Star game, so start voting.
The best player.
That's exactly the point.
And this is what you're getting now, especially what he's been able to do. He had the home run last night, he had 4 on the road trip, hit a home run right before he went 4 for 4. 5th time in his career that he's gotten 4 hits a game. So, I mean, we watch baseball every night, not just the Rockies. We're always looking at other games, watching other games. You can't tell me that there's a better 3rd baseman in the National League right now. Todd Frazier might have 3 more home runs. I get that. But he can't play the defense that Nolan plays as well.
Sorry, Brooks Robinson opens up the paper in the morning to see how Nolan Arenado did. Enough said. Let's get you the keys to the game tonight from Flatiron Subaru. Keys to the game, Jeff.
Well, encore performance in a double meaning. Encore what you did in the first game, but more importantly, what David Hale can do, because this is the 2nd time he has been the 26th man. Just follow it up what you did last time, 6 2/3 inning.
And for me, it's get to the bullpen as soon as possible.
That's the Dodgers.
They had to use 5 arms in the first game. They're tired. They don't want to be out there. Get Zach Greinke out of the game and get some runs on the board.
That'd be great. Rockies get a ton of hits in the first, the second, tons of runs come with that. Oh, all of a sudden that plan would blow up right in the Dodgers' face, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Wouldn't mind that at all. Coming up, we'll turn it over to Drew and George as we get you set for Game 2 of the doubleheader day here at Coors Field.
Coors Field as the Rockies get set for Game 2 of this doubleheader, day-night doubleheader between the Rocks and the Dodgers. Rockies won Game 1, 6-3. We're happy to report. And an official good evening and welcome upstairs. We're glad that you are along with my partner George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies played a very nice first ball game. Jorge De La Rosa goes 6 innings, other than one inning where the control went away. He was pretty solid, and the bats swung it.
Well, the bats really swung it. Jorge gave him the chance. I mean, that's the big key, that you give him a chance to win a ball game here. He did that, but Nolan Arenado comes up big again. The base hit to left field scores DJ LeMahieu, and then it was McHenry's turn. 3 RBIs in the ball game. This one, nobody's going to catch. It was a long fly into left center field off of that wall. Then Ben Polson comes up again with another home run into the Rockies bullpen to add and pad to that lead. The Rockies go on to win 6-3.
And in Game 2, David Hale's been called back to the big leagues. Now, he made his Colorado Rockies debut in a similar situation, a day-night doubleheader against the San Francisco Giants. He tossed a nightcap. He was terrific, worked deep into that ball game. He's a sinker-slider guy with experience from the Atlanta Braves.
Well, no question. And he's pitched much better as a starter than he has as a reliever. 4-1 as a starter with an earned run average below 3, but out of the bullpen a little bit higher and less results. A lot of high fives after that ball game. 6 2/3, 8 hits, 3 runs. He did give up a couple earned runs. The key there, no walks, a couple of strikeouts, and a whole bunch of these ground ball outs. And that's what he wanted to do, is get the ball on the ground, allow the defense to work behind him. Utilized his sinker down in the zone and the slider away in the zone. So a good night for David Hale, and a good night for the Colorado Rockies with him on the mound.
And a chance to do the unusual, get a sweep. It's unusual to be able to sweep a team, period, in a doubleheader, particularly if it's the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Think about this. Since 2000, it's only happened 51% of the time throughout all of baseball. Not just with Colorado, all of baseball.
So we are set. It is a perfect evening at 20th and Blake. Rockies and Dodgers come on back to Coors Field for Game 2 with us. Welcome inside Coors Field. Folks who couldn't make the afternoon affair coming for the evening affair. Rockies and Dodgers. Again, the Rockies won Game 1 this afternoon, 6-3. The Rockies are now on 8 of their last 10, and they sit at 23-27. The Dodgers now 30-21. Jock Peterson, he'll play both ends of the doubleheader. He's young enough, he's able enough, and he can swing it. Boy, he hit a monstrous home run in game 1. Here's the Southwest batting order in the evening affair for Donnie Mattingly. Kike Hernandez, very versatile defensively. We see him in left field. In the first game, he was in the middle of the infield. He's in second base this evening. Adrian Gonzalez, he'll play both ends. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Andre Ethier was a pinch hitter in game 1. Alberto Callaspo will be at third. Jimmy Rollins at short. Chris Heisey is in the left field batting 8th in front of Zach Greinke. So David Hale making his second appearance. And we talked about his first appearance. Really good outing against the San Francisco Giants.
11 ground balls, 6 fly balls, 2 strikeouts in that ball game.
First pitch at 90 miles an hour, sinks a little bit low. Ball 1 on Peterson. Rockies put 3 on the right side for Peterson. And that's outside, 2-0. So last night Peterson went deep to center field, and look where this one lands today against De La Rosa. Jorge didn't even want to watch. And the 2-0's in there, 2-1. 477 feet, the estimated distance on that home run this afternoon. Game time temperature 82 degrees. And right now it's advantage pitcher because the pitcher's still in the sunlight and the hitter's in a shadow. And this is chopped to DJ. And Peterson's retired. Here's how the Rockies will line defensively in the nightcap. In the outfield, Brandon Barnes. In center field, it'll be Charlie Blackmon. He started in the opener. Cargo did not play in the opener. He's in right field. Arenado plays both. Tulo sat down. Actually, Cargo is playing both. Let me correct that. Troy didn't play in the opener. DJ at second once again. Ben Paulson at first base. Nick Hundley doing the catching. Kike Hernandez lines this ball to deep right field. Cargo's going to hope it hits the wall. It did not. It sails out of the ballpark, and it's 1-0 LA on Kike Hernandez's second home run.
Now take another look at this on the Subaru Supermo right out of the hand of David Hale, trying to run that sinker down and in. And right before it started to sink, anytime it's above the knees, you get more run. You get on the plane of the bat on the swing. When below the knees, you're able to get that sink. And this one was sunk about 390 feet to right field.
That's the 6th home run the Dodgers have hit in this series already. Outside on Adrian.
Hale in these minor league innings this year at Albuquerque, 30 innings pitched, 36 hits given up, only 2 home runs though. Walked 11, struck out 21. His last start against New Orleans, he went 64 pitches, 7 innings. Very efficient, gave up 2 runs.
One and 2 on Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 3 and a walk in the first game. The walk drove in a run. De La Rosa had 2 outs, nobody on in the 5th inning. We've seen this happen to him before. All of a sudden he walked the pitcher. Another walk. There was an infield hit. And the next thing you know, he gave up a run when he walked Adrian Gonzalez on a 3-2 pitch.
Had him 0-2 to start the at bat.
And this is in the air to left. Playable for Barnes. 2 outs. So here's Yasmani Grandal. He pinch hit in the ball game last night. Big Dodger victory last night.
And he's in the lineup. The Dodgers are 21-11 when he's behind the plate.
The Dodgers have been front runners and good front runners. 19-3 when they score first. Rockies will have to turn that around. Grandal 375 in the month of May. It's outside, 2-0.
Just barely off the strike zone. You see that on the Ford strike zone. Trying to come inside with the fastball to try to jam. The danger you have sometimes when you're trying to come in, particularly guys standing on the plate, even when you're trying to throw a four-seam fastball, because you're so used to pronating to the inside, you still get some run to it. And so that danger of, you need to start it about 2 or 3 inches in on the plate to keep it on the corner of the plate. If you try to go corner, it runs back to the middle, and that's where you can get in trouble and get in that hitting zone.
(2-1) and a check swing foul ball. 2-2. Home plate umpire is Chris Gaccioni. At first base, Jeff Nelson. He's the crew chief. Laz Diaz at second. John Tumpain. Blown out from the West. Actually, he's from Chicago. John is. Flew in to work the second game of the doubleheader. And a good pitch to strike out Grandal. In the inning, Kike Hernandez hits an opposite field home run over the auxiliary scoreboard, and the Dodgers lead it 1-0. Have a tough customer on the mound again this evening. It is Zach Greinke. Charlie Blackmon will lead things off. 1 hit, 9 at bats so far in the series. Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss will feature DJ LeMahieu again at the 2 spot. Tulowitzki, Cargo, Arenado, Ben Paulson, Nick Hundley, Brandon Barnes, and David Hale. Kind of like how Walt went about his business today. How he split up the lineup between game 1 and game 2, and who he finally decided on as to start in game 1, because he didn't reveal it until earlier today. He went with De La Rosa in the afternoon game, the more veteran pitcher, and he's having Hale go in the evening against Greinke. But he also has been able to get guys rest, and pretty good lineup that Greinke's going to face. It's basically the A lineup.
As it should be. The A lineup against the A pitcher. The amazing thing for me about Greinke, and I was just reading this note that Doug gave me, in 3 starts out on the road this year, 21 2/3 innings, no runs. It's amazing. The opposition's only hit 149 against him. And you wonder why the earned run average is what it is. Well, when you have 2 outs and runners in scoring position, when they hit 118 against you, that you've given up 1 hit. Done a pretty good job with it.
And the reason Greinke doesn't have plenty more wins, I mean, he's got a nice record, 5-1, is that he hasn't had much run support of late. Just 4 runs of support over his last 4 starts. Here's DJ, and that's fouled off. LeMahieu 2 for 5 in the afternoon ball game to raise his average to 337. Heavy shade with Peterson toward right center. Not a surprise. Here's the 0-1. And a ground ball that's going to be gloved over there by Hernandez. 2 outs. check of the Dodgers defensively. They have Chris Heisey in left field, Jock Peterson in center field, and Andre Ethier in right. Iaspo and Rollins on the left side. Jimmy is third all-time in fielding percentage among shortstops. Kike Hernandez, Adrian Gonzalez on the right side. Adrian with 4 Gold Gloves, including 1 last year. Yasmani Grandal's behind the plate.
An interesting note out of this lineup, Tulowitzki's seen him more than anybody, 33 times, and he's hit .303 against him. But listen to this, just 1 extra base hit, a double, and he's only driven in 1 run against him with all those hits. He struck out 7 times. That's Greinke not giving up any hits when it's obviously in a costly situation for him. Troy has swung the bat well in the series, 2 for 4.
And he goes with another fastball. Misses there, 1-1.
And because everything stays the same with Zach Greinke, meaning the body language on every single pitch, you set up here and you start to look and you go 92. It doesn't look 92 because everything stays the same.
It's a curveball, 2-1. So here's the 2-1, and that is over the bag. It's a fair ball, and Iaspo throws out Tulowitzki. It's a 1-2-3 start for Zach Greinke. Dodgers lead it 1-0. By your hometown Toyota stores, let's go places. By the Courtyard by Marriott, Western elegance in the cultural heart of the city. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. An aerial view of Red Rocks. Whoever's playing tonight, they're not real popular.
It doesn't start till dark.
1-0 Los Angeles. Andre Ethier at the top of the second against David Hale. Ethier hit 271 out on the road. He's hitting 338 at home. Breaking ball's in there for a strike. That Rockies victory this afternoon, 6-3, was the first time in 4 matchups that the Rockies have defeated the Dodgers at Coors Field this year. Overall, they're now 3-8 against LA. center field. Charlie's got it, 1 out. That'll bring up Alberto Callaspo. See Jimmy Rollins on deck. When Callaspo came up, really one of those extremely versatile guys. We're seeing more of those guys that play the middle infield, play center field.
Amarista with the Padres.
Yeah, Amarista, good example. This is pulled foul.
Rafael Inoa with the Colorado Rockies, another guy that has obviously played his way into a super utility role anywhere in the infield and the left field. Inoa's made little big strides in that, doing that also.
This is bounce to DJ. 2 outs. So in game 1, De La Rosa goes 6 innings and he gets the victory. And for Jorge, he's now 71-47 in a Rockies uniform. That's an extraordinary record. And he's 1 win shy of tying Aaron Cook for #1 on the all-time victories list in Rockies history. Cookie went 72-68. And there's De La. Got that finger covered up again. Jimmy Rollins going to beat the shift. 2-out single for Rollins. And that'll bring up Chris Heisey. Rockies fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts or photos via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Utilize the hashtag Toyota Talk, and we'll get some of those thoughts and pictures during the ball game. Well, this is from David Dahl, who, if you've been following, one of the top prospects in the Rockies organization and all of baseball, he had that collision in New Britain, and he's had his spleen removed. We wish David all the best. By reading some of his text, sounds like he's doing well. He said the surgery went well, and now I'm currently resting in my room. So speedy recovery to David Dahl. Heisey hits a high pop-up to shallow right. DJ makes the catch, and that's all for the Dodgers in the second inning. They have the lead 1-0 on a Kike Hernandez home run.
half inning. 15 games since he's come back to the team, hitting .384 out of homer in Game 1. After Game 1, he mentioned that Glenn Allen Hill, the manager of the Isotopes at AAA, has helped him immensely. I asked him how.
You know, his main thing is just always be a professional in everything you do, off the field, on the field, and just having professional at-bats. And my main thing is just being on balance, you know. Even if it's okay to swing and miss and just be on balance. So that was the main thing once I left Albuquerque, what he really reiterated to me.
Well, Carter was on balance as he leads off with a single to left field. George, you might want to explain that. And, Drew, I know you know that Glenn Allen Hill can sit these guys down and really talk baseball and life with them.
Well, more than anything, Mark, when he said teach him how to become a professional, it's about going about your job the same way every day and not getting all tied up an awful lot with the ins and outs and ups and downs of baseball. But the balance point he's talking about is a lot of times Ben had a tendency to rock too far back. Hands stayed back. They didn't catch up to the ball in the zone. He could fly out with his front side at times, and he became a very balanced swing, which kept the head still. And the results have shown here, and they've shown in Albuquerque.
Leadoff single for Cargo, and this is fouled off by Nolan. Nolan has reached in every game but one against the Dodgers this year. And during his last 9 games against, obviously going back to the final home game Sunday and then the road trip through Cincinnati and Philadelphia, he's hitting .444 with 6 home runs and 17 driven in. He is locked in. Rockies down 1-0. Leadoff man aboard.
Well, you look and see where he's being pitched, and he's making the opposition pay for it, particularly with the long ball. You can see the ones home versus road. Some are elevated, but more than anything, they're all in that bottom inside quadrant of a batter's box. So it's basically down and in, turning on it.
Greinke gets him to chase there, and it's 1-2. Hard slider from Greinke. It's a pitch he'll throw about 20% of the time.
Yeah, a little different wind here. Coors Field blowing out very strong to left center.
Busts him inside. 2-2.
And usually when a pitcher does that, if you do it with some authority, you buy a little bit of room maybe on that inner half, and that was hard. That was at 93 miles an hour in the forward strike zone, and on the hands, disrupt your feet a little bit. And of course, the hard end to slow away. See if he takes that pattern. That's what a lot of guys talk about.
Greinke's got really quick feet. We've explained this before. Greinke is a terrific athlete.
Well, when he took the break from baseball with the Kansas City Royals, didn't know if he wanted to play anymore because of anxiety. He talked about going out on the PGA Tour. It was a 0 handicap.
And that's fouled off. Absolutely ideal for baseball or for any outdoor activity. This may be the best day we've had in the spring/summer. This pitch will be the 8th to Nolan Arenado.
Remarkable that base hit by Cargo. Think about this, folks. Leading off the inning, the opposition is hitting 176. That's the on-base percentage against Greinke. It's 4th in baseball. DeGrom leads it with 164.
Cargo's had success against Greinke. He's hitting above 340 against him after that hit. There goes Cargo, and the check swing foul ball.
A 3-2 count, sinker ball guy on the mound that you always, or should at least, always send that runner at first, stay out of the double play ball. He happens to get a base hit like an Arenado. Sometimes you can score. You definitely get first to third on a base hit. The Dodgers outfield's about 15 feet shy of the wall here at Coors Field right now. A line drive out in front of him, left to right, 10 or 15 feet. With Cargo on the move, pretty good chance he could score.
Going again, and this is back up the middle, and that's going to turn into a double play. That's just bad luck. Kike Hernandez never would have been there if he's not breaking for the bag.
It's kind of strange. It almost looked like two guys were breaking to the bag. Jimmy Rollins was moving also. You can't hit any harder, Nolan. He just got a bad result out of it. One more look at it. Let's watch both the middle infielders, see if they both start to come. Jimmy started to break on it. Get the catch, easy catch by Hernandez to flip to first. There's not a lot about you can do about that. When you got guys like Greinke on the mound, this is what happens an awful lot. Guys who win a lot of games get a lot of breaks. There's a reason why.
Here's Ben Paulson. Kind of golfed a home run into the Rockies bullpen. Give the Rockies an added run. Provided a 6-3 lead for the Rockies. That's what they won game 1. And for Ben, that's the 4th home run since coming up. He's been terrific. 2-0 count to work with. Ben arrived from Albuquerque on May 19th. So 2 weeks, he's done plenty of damage. He changes speed so well, and like all elite pitchers, he has great command of his stuff. The league hits just 240 against his fastball, and much less than that against all his off-speed stuff. In fact, a combined 144 average against his slider, curveball, and changeup. On the corner, strike 3. Well, a promising inning turns into a 1-2-3 inning. And as we go to the 3rd, the Dodgers lead at 1-0. Colorado. Thanks for watching the Rockies on Root Sports. Be sure to tell us where you're watching from on Twitter at RootSports_RM. Using hashtag #WhereWeRoot. That's where I got my start many moons ago.
It wasn't that many moons.
1986, good portion 87.
See,
KSPN TV.
That's not a lot of moons.
30, close to 30 years ago now. Huh?
Yeah.
Zach Greinke will lead it off. Greinke's always been a good hitter. He's hit above 200 in his career with 4 home runs. Hit a home run last September at AT&T against the Giants.
By the way, Drew, it's been about 11,000 moons, I was told by.
Did Doug look that up?
Yes.
He said that's many. That's many.
He said about.
Many moons.
About 11,000 moons.
The 1-2 is fouled off. That's a breaking ball. Dodgers made a roster move earlier today, prior to Game 1. Scott Van Slyke's been battling a back issue, and Don Mattingly had to put him on the disabled list. And Chris Heisey, who's in the ball game today, was brought up.
Well, they made a couple of others too. They needed some pitchers for the second side, the second ball game today. Josh Raven, a right-hander, was brought up.
Fortunately, that guy we were just showing can't pitch in the second game.
Neither one of them. Brett Anderson or Clayton Kershaw.
One-two is pretty well hit. It's going to be run down though by Charlie Blackmon. We thought that with Kershaw's approval. Kershaw had 3 hits last night.
He swung a bat very well last night to career high. Looking to come out to the ball game. There's always great Rockies ticket deals available. Bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back all season long to pick up on one of the ticket specials and head out to the ballpark.
So Jock Peterson, who grounded second in the first innings, up there with 1 out. He's hit a home run in 3 straight ball games. How about 4 straight?
How about, wow, that's a long way.
You know what? He has hit, that's his 16th home run, and the average distance on his home runs coming into the game was 422 feet. That's actually coming into the doubleheader, which is the longest in baseball average home run. Well, he is strong, and he takes a big swing.
How about that for a leadoff hitter, huh? Pretty good job of doing things. 16 home runs now. And David Hale knew it. Everybody else in the ballpark knew it, particularly this guy when he left the bat. But you know what I like about him? It's kind of the old school Mark McGwire. Not a lot of standing and looking. He hits it, and he just drops the bat, takes his jog, comes to the dugout.
2-0. Kike Hernandez hit an opposite field home run his first time up over the scoreboard in right. This will rival how far the first one went.
Well, only because if Brian Peters had a glove on, running camera in center field, he might have been able to catch it. And then you see Clayton Kershaw. Did you all see that? Holy cow. 3-time Cy Young Award winner and MVP standing up going, wow.
And Hernandez with a base hit through the left side.
You got to figure out a way to shut the inning down. You got 1 out, a little ground ball out right here, and it's a conversation now going to have with David Hale. Now let's just make sure we get the ball down in the zone. Mark McGwire, he's hit a few. Boy, there's guys with bad haircuts now. You notice that? Do they pay for those, Dougie? They do? Do they pay a lot for them? Then I'm going to start being a barber. I could put on a welder's hat and do better than that.
Tell you what, he probably doesn't care much about the hairdo. He keeps hitting the way he's hitting.
They'll all love it, right?
16 home runs, 30 driven in. Hitting out of the top spot in the lineup for the Dodgers. Initially, he's hitting way down in the lineup. Break in the rookie slowly, but took over that top spot pretty quickly. 1-0 on Adrian Gonzalez.
You know, I think part of the reason he acts the way he acts as a professional is obviously from his father a number of years as a professional player. He reached the major league level, and it, you know, and you're around it like that, and they teach you a certain way to play the game. You know, now all of a sudden it's, I know how to play the game, and I don't want a phone call from Dad going, "What are you doing?" You know, play the game the right way, and he does play it the right way. I'll give him credit. Boy, he's fun to watch play.
Gonzalez took a big cut. 2-1.
You don't ever see him very often. And the same thing with Troy Tulowitzki or an Arenado, that they take such an just an off-balance finish. They're going to swing and miss some pitches, but to see that finish the way you see it normally, it's kind of like that golfer sticking it, you know, sticking the finish of that swing. They're very much like that with a balanced swing.
Runner going. This is fouled off. Talk to Adrian about that, because he reminds me of Rafael Palmeiro in how he had effortless power and the swing was the same every time.
Chase Utley, another guy, same guy. It doesn't look like they're swinging hard. The ball goes forever.
And Adrian said when he was coming up in the Rangers organization, that's who they compared him to. It's one of the reasons they were enamored with him.
Probably a few teams back that they probably wish they'd have said, "Why did we trade that guy?" San Diego being one, Boston being another, Rangers being another.
Originally the first pick in the draft.
Check.
3-2. Runner going again, and this ball's hit really well right center field. Cargo's not going to have room either. The long ball is hurting David Hale, to say the least. 3 home runs for the Dodgers, 3 innings. Less than 3 innings. And they're up 4-0. 2-run shot for Adrian Gonzalez, his 11th of the year.
Well, let's take a look at that pitch to Adrian Gonzalez, see if it was stayed in the middle of the plate. And it looked like to me he went down and got it from way up here. It's a changeup. Yeah, that ball just stayed up right into the zone, right out of the hand by Adrian Gonzalez, a little bit above the thigh level, and then all the way out to where nobody else can catch it except a teammate who's sitting in the bullpen.
8 home runs in the first 2.5 games, 2 1/3 games of this series for the Dodgers. They've hit a lot of home runs this year.
Nice play.
That's
tough play.
Yeah, that's a tough hop. Paulson had an in-between hop on the backhand side, and he flips it to David Hale, and Grandal's retired.
Yeah, you got to move on the baseball, and that's what Ben Paulson does. Do you go try to short hop it, or you take a step back and hope you can backhand it? The nice part about that play, DJ LeMahieu was right behind him, so Ben had come off of the bat quite a bit. Look right here, you're going to see DJ come into the picture. As he was behind, I think either one of those guys would have been able to make the play. Good job by Hale to get to first base.
Swung on and missed by Ethier. And this will be a much easier play for Paulson. In the inning, Jock Peterson hit one a mile, then a base hit by Hernandez and Adrian Gonzalez on a 3-2 pitch. It is 11, 4-0 LA. Dodgers, we go to the bottom of the third. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more in any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 for your Rockies taco special. Nick Hundley will be first here in the third inning, then Barnes and Hale. Rockies have one hit. That was a Cargo single. He was erased on a double play off the bat of Nolan Arenado. There's another base hit for Nick Hundley.
Swung about well all year long. 294 average for Nick Hundley, hitting in the bottom half of the zone. The thing about it, Greinke's going to try to get ahead of you quick with a fastball, and if you could trigger the bats and get a good swing on it, sometimes you can come up pretty lucky. Not an awful lot at times. How about this stat about Greinke, Drew? This really blows my mind. Do you know he's 22-2 in a Dodger uniform against the National League West? That's nuts.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? Two old friends meeting at first, two former Padres, Adrian Gonzalez and Nick Hundley. How about the production by the Rockies combination of Nick Hundley and Mike McHenry? The Rockies, with McHenry hitting a home run in game 1, have 8 home runs from the catcher spot. That leads the National League, and they have a .287 average, which is second, and their slugging percentage of .466 is tops in the National League. So the backstops have done a terrific job both ways. That's a base hit. Barnes with a sharp single to left.
Guarantee a ball elevated just a little bit. Greinke's talking to the left side of his infield. Subaru Supermo, one more look at it, trying to run the sinker in on the hands. Good job. Look at how they cleared. Everything gets cleared out here. Stiff front side, hit on the baseball. Good results. Oh, that's nice. Last 11 ball games, or excuse me, last 11 Rockies that have been in runners in scoring position. 356 average. Big number.
David Hale takes ball 1. He'll try to move the runners along.
Drew mentioned earlier also, as a good athlete as Greinke is, it allows your third baseman Callaspo to stay back near the bag unless bunted extremely hard. And Greinke can really get off the mound. Right now he's running a little quick and missing. He's had a conversation with Guccione here. And Cunley's doing a little ground work out at second base. So valuable if a pitcher can handle the bat. You get that defense moving around, possibly slug bunt. Come on, I'm a catcher. You think I'm going to fall for that?
Pretty good throw by Grandal. 2 balls and a strike on Hale. Dodgers up 4-0. They've hit 3 out of the yard. They lead all of baseball with 72 home runs, 1 more than the Houston Astros over in the American League. And Hale did get his hands and thus his bat extended.
Good bunt. 2 strikes. That's awesome. Good job, David Hale.
Now a couple opportunities for the Rockies to get on the board, down 4-zip. Charlie Blackmon has been slumping. We'll have the first opportunity. Charlie 3 for his last 28 at the plate. He had a bouncer to second.
I guarantee you, Greinke was thinking on the mound when he had 2 strikes on the pitcher, make a really good pitch here and have him miss it again or throw the slider with fastball. He gave Hale an opportunity with less movement to get it down.
Greinke elects to go out of the windup.
It didn't look like he felt very comfortable out of the stretch, wasn't getting the same extension. He's got a 4-0 lead. Obviously some guys feel like they throw harder out of the windup versus the stretch. That's a myth. They don't, but they think they do mentally because of all the momentum in the delivery.
This ball's driven to deep center field. Did Charlie get it all? Not quite, but it'll get a run home. Tagging from second, trying to move up his Barnes. He gets to third, and it's 4-1. I have to tell you what, off the bat, with the sound that had, I thought that had a chance to fly.
I think Charlie did too, and I tell you what, Peterson did a good job to get back and catch that baseball. He wasn't that deep. He took off on the run. Yeah, you hadn't had a day off. You had to jog around the bases. Now you got to go deep to catch Charlie Blackmon's fly ball. A good at bat by Charlie. Charlie been struggling a little late as far as getting base hits, but productive at bats, another story. Looking at this ball, on the flight of this ball, I agree with Drew. I thought there was a 3-run home run looking all over.
Peterson was playing shallow. Here's LeMahieu. DJ up the middle, coming through, and it's 4-2. How big was that? Greinke an opportunity with all the traffic to get to the dugout, giving up just 1, and there's Mr. 2-out RBI man, DJ LeMahieu.
Well, and we mentioned this in the first couple of ball games. They don't play a lot of shifts. They pretty much play straight up defense. And this straight up defense may have cost him here, because a lot of times with DJ, you'll see that overshift in the infield. This ball just shot right up the middle, right past Hernandez at second. The run comes in to score.
26th RBI for LeMahieu. Here's Tulowitzki.
Bottom of the lineup, a couple of runs, a couple of hits against Greinke.
Tulo came in a .303 lifetime average against Greinke. Hit a bouncer to third in the first inning. Rockies have squared up some balls too. This wasn't, a couple of bloops and a bleeder. I mean, Barnes hit the ball hard. Nick Hundley hit the ball sharply. Obviously, the ball Blackman hit for the sac fly was squared up. And DJ LeMahieu just found the barrel also. 2-0 on Tulowitzki. 2 outs, LeMahieu at first. And this ball's in the air to left center field. And it'll be playable out there for Chris Heisey. That'll end the inning. But the Rockies, after giving up a 3 spot in the top half of the inning, rally for 2. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Mark Stout. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Good to see the Rockies rally against the Dodgers and one of their co-aces, Zach Greinke. So it's 4-2 to start the top of the 4th. Alberto Callaspo, Jimmy Rollins, Chris Heisey, 6, 7, and 8 for Los Angeles. Callaspo hit a ground ball to DJ, his first time up. David Hale goes changeup, and it's down low. And he comes right back with it. Touches the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike.
No, and they're not overpowering. 88, 92 miles an hour with a fastball. And we've seen Hale to 93 a year ago in a Brave uniform, but he pitches at 90. Sometimes you pitch backwards. Go change up.
That's
I
Cutter.
like that.
Yeah, Cutter. Jonathan Payne said he went around 1 and 2.
Jonathan's like, hey, I'm going to be here for 1 game. I got to head back to AAA. So you know what? Hey, I'm bringing you up. With the doubleheader, folks, they rotate a lot of the umpires around. They don't want the guy working the plate that's going to have to work in the second game of a doubleheader. He'll get the night off.
Callaspo kind of serves that to left, and that is a foul ball. Fortunately, that would have been a double.
Well, Lorenzo Bundy, former coach of that worked here for the Rockies, looked right back into the dugout and he gave it this much, about 4 inches foul.
Very accurate call. 1 and 2 on Callaspo.
One pitch you don't see an awful lot. Break a ball in the dirt just about 19% of the time. He really tries to rely heavily on a fastball that averages nearly 91 miles an hour. That was in his first start this year.
Got 13 ground ball outs against the Giants. Only struck out 2. The key is he didn't walk anybody. That's back up the middle. That was sitting up in the zone for Callaspo.
Well, we go back and look at David Hale's first outing. What did he use the majority of the time? We mentioned the fastball, 66% of the time. Slider and changeup, pretty equal, 19 and 15%. Tonight has been more changeups than it has been sliders. He'll try to get another ball on the ground here with Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy in his first at bat, single. His average is now up to 212.
So the big news around baseball today, one of the stories, George, was that monster kid coming up, Joey Gallo for Texas, right?
He hits him a long
Well, his
way.
first at bat, we saw it. He had a base hit. With mom and dad there and a lot of family, had a base hit.
Plus playing in Texas, he's at home.
Yeah, you know what he did in his second at bat, of course.
Upper deck.
I don't know where it went, but it went far. 445 feet, so it went
upper deck.
It went upper deck. It's 2 for 2.
You know, for the fans at home, you probably never been to the Tulsa ballpark, but they have 375 in right center. Then they have a burn. They have the bullpen, so you figure another 40 feet. Then you have a big grass burn up in right field, and then you have the street. And he cleared the sidewalk on the other side of the street with a home run.
He broke a window on a car recently in a ballpark. 6'5" and 240 pounds. Number 9 rated prospect in baseball, making his big league debut tonight for a Texas team that's played surprisingly well.
Played better. You got Josh Hamilton came back. He swung the bat well. Couple of home runs. A pinch hit double to win a game the other day.
1-2 on Rollins here with Callaspo at first, nobody out. And Jimmy's got a good pitch by David Hale.
Slider down and in underneath the hands, and very difficult for a left-handed hitter with crowding the plate. 2 strikeouts now for David Hale. They equaled the amount from the previous time. You get another look at that pitch. It's just perfect location under the swing of Jimmy Rollins.
Bring up Chris Heisey. And a 2-strike count now on Heisey. Dodgers came into the day leading the Rockies by 7.5. Now they lead it by 6.5 with the Rockies victory. Dodgers out on the road 9-14, 21-7 though at Dodger Stadium. 0-2, strike 3 inside corner.
Well, you play some soft speed away, then you throw the fastball away. It allows you maybe to buy a little part of that inner half of the strike zone on the Subaru Super Mo, framed perfectly by Nick Hundley. Squared right over to the center of the body. Is it off the plate? Yeah, I see a little bit of white touching white there. You got to ring him up. Too close to take with 2 strikes.
Greinke had a fly ball to center field his first time up. 2 outs. Callaspo remains at first, and that's on the inside corner. Greinke, the 09 Cy Young Award winner when playing for the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, he was kind of rental player there for a little bit when he went over to Milwaukee and then on to LA Angels, and then all of a sudden he ends up in the Dodgers. I thought the Angels, I think they felt like they traded Juan Segura, Gene Segura. They traded him and a guy named Helweg, a big tall right-hander, 6'9" right-hander that's had surgery, not back yet, for Zach Greinke. The 2 top prospects went over. Segura went on to become an all-star. And among trade rumors now, particularly with the San Diego Padres, are looking for a shortstop. So Greinke left and signed a Dodger big contract. Terry DePoto and the Angels felt like they were going to be able to keep him there. Didn't happen.
swung on and missed. So David Hale did a nice job. He gave up the leadoff single to Callaspo, and then he struck out the next three. Rollins, Heisey, and Greinke. Back to the bat rack for the Rockies, down 4-2.
After the first game, there was a question asked of Walt Weiss, and the question was, Nolan's done it with his bat and his glove. How about his leadership qualities and how he does things? And this is how Walt answered.
Brings energy, brings a competitive spirit, and desire to play every inning of every game. That has a major impact on the team when they see that.
That's why we need everybody to vote Nolan in the All-Star ballot. Voting ends a month from today. We're going to get to that topic coming up, so vote Nolan. There it is. You can get your button here at Coors Field. I'll tell you how coming up, guys.
Well, you know what, Mark? It's kind of surprising to me because you got 1 million-something votes for the top third baseman, and he's like 600,000 below. Shame on baseball fans. Have you watched this guy play at all? I mean, get the ballot and start voting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of high-quality third basemen in the National League, but without question, Nolan deserves to be in Cincinnati, and
well, he will
by some way, shape, or form. I hope he is in Cincinnati because he has been outstanding, as you all know. Cargo fires at that pitch. It's 2-1.
I think the one thing he's got a huge part in his advantage. The manager of the National League is going to be Bruce Bochy, who gets to watch Nolan Arenado an awful lot.
Yeah, and Matt Carpenter is a terrific hitter. Todd Frazier has hit a lot of home runs and hit for a high average, basically, for Cincinnati. Good fielder.
Well, Chris Bryant's doing a good job for the Cubs too.
Well, it's going to be an interesting, and again, we're talking about June 2nd right now.
Right.
But the Rookie of the Year battle right now has got to be Jock Peterson and Chris Bryant. Two and two. Cargo does a good job covering that pitch away. Cargo a sharp single to left in the second inning. Career .317 hitter against Dodger pitching. Good eye. 3-2.
Greinke didn't seem very happy with himself after missing with that pitch up and away. That's the pitch you wanted to get him on. You don't want to run to that 3-2 count. It always seemed to be a fastball count years past, but these guys' command is so good now that they'll go to a lot of them.
Well, he went down and got that. He went slider, and Cargo with another base hit, 2 for 2.
Was that good to see? Started the night at 215. Now all of a sudden that average is going to jump to 224. Let it jump a little bit at a time. Subaru Supermost changeup, got his hands out front, but out over the plate. Able to take it and dump it into right field for a base hit. Remember last time Arenado in the same situation. Hit the one hopper right up the middle with the runner going, Cargo going. They were able to turn the double play ball.
Nolan's not going to get robbed there as he rips it to left field off the leather of Callaspo. And the Rockies picking up, George, where they left off last inning.
That's exactly right. Capitalizing on the mistakes that Greinke is making. Carlos Gonzalez is heating up, folks, and this guy's not cooling down. He's only getting hotter. Nolan Arenado with a line shot to left field off the glove of Callaspo. It hit so hard it could stick in the leather. Only third time he's given up more than one run in his 11 starts this season. Just 2 runs given up. The first 2 runs he's given up out on the road this year.
Well, every one of his starts have been, I put this in quotations, a quality start. And that pitch off the plate on Paulson. It's 2-0. The Rockies have found themselves in more favorable counts tonight against Zach Greinke. 4 runs, 6 hits, 3 home runs for the Dodgers. The Rockies 2 runs, 6 hits. Cargo at second, Arenado at first, back-to-back singles. And it's 3-0 on Paulson.
Setting up here, and I have other monitors in my booth that you don't have at home, folks. I'm watching Ben Paulson. He's got a little bit of the same toe tap that Brandon Barnes has that was put in. And you have the ability to see that his head never moves. The hand stays so still, so he gets a longer read of the pitch. He doesn't have to commit early.
In the outside corner, the 3-0's in there. It's 3-1. Actually, you know what? That pitch looked like it was well off the plate.
Yeah, I thought it was
toward strike zone. That's ball 4. That's unusual. Zach Greinke has now walked Paulson to load the bases for Hundley. Nobody out. You go back to last inning. 6 of the last 9 have reached. David Hale, keep in mind, laid down a bunt. And Charlie Blackmon hit one about 400 feet for a sac fly.
On the bottom of this lineup, Hundley base hit, Barnes base hit. Both came around to score runs, too. Nick's base hit back up the middle. Barnes was a shot to left. Their outfield still playing deep.
Hundley bouncer toward the hole. That's a good pickup, and he beat it safe. Good hustle by Nick Hundley. That's huge, folks. First and third, 1 out, as opposed to the Rockies, obviously, with 2 outs. A run comes in. It's 4-3. Nick gets his 17th RBI.
And it's huge only for that factor. You keep it first and third. Things are still alive, much better. The fly ball, a lot of things can happen for you. Good hustle by Nick Hundley. He runs well for a catcher, but also credit coming in hard into second base. And I like that. Came in pretty hard on him. Disrupt everything for Jimmy Rollins. It became nothing but an arm throw. Ben Paulson, good job of keeping things alive for the Rockies as he approached second.
Barnes, a sharp single last inning. Fishes a little bit there. It's 0-1. This is where hitting in that 8th spot is so difficult, because Barnes knows that in that situation where you Probably will expand your strike zone a little bit with one out. RBI situation, you have the pitcher on deck. 2 strikes on Barnes.
It's not unfamiliar ground for Greinke, though. He's had the bases loaded 7 times this year. They're in the opposition 0 for 7. They haven't scored. They have now.
Arenado at third, Hundley at first. Rondal blocks the breaking ball in the dirt. 1 and 2.
With him behind the plate this year, 4 pass balls, 14 wild pitches. When we talked about his ability to call the game, the Dodgers 21 and 11 when he's behind the plate. Toss the fastball away.
And he gets a strikeout of Barnes.
Elevated at 94 miles an hour.
Just a second strikeout for the Rockies against Greinke. And in game 1 against the Dodgers, the 6-3 Rockies victory, they struck out only 3 times, and that broke a string of 5 straight games where the Rockies had struck out at least 10 times against the LA pitching staff. And the Rockies are chipping away. It was 4-0. It's now 4-3. And David Hale bounces this one to second. But the Rockies get another run. And it's a whole different ball game than what it looked like 2 innings ago. We'll go to the 5th, 4-3 LA. In this series, and in this game they've hit 3. Kike Hernandez a solo shot in the first. Jock Peterson hit a monster shot in the third. And the Rockies have countered with RBIs from Blackman, LeMahieu, and Nick Hundley. The other home run of the ball game, a 2-run shot by Adrian Gonzalez. You're up to date with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman, Mark Stout. Field level. Here's Jock Peterson leading things off again against David Hale. Did we ever get a distance, Doug, on that home run?
F-A-R. Far.
No, you're wrong again. R-E-A-L-L-Y.
Really far.
It went really far in game 1. They measured that one at 477 feet. Hit a home run in 4 straight games. The Dodger club record for home runs in consecutive games is 5. And he went around.
Once he starts, I think he's going to have a tough time holding up.
It's a big swing. Guys who've hit a home run in 5 straight games for the Dodgers. Matt Kemp did it in 2010. Sean Green in 2001. And Roy Campanella did it in 1950. 1 ball, 1 strike. 16 home runs now for Jock Peterson. High fly ball. Cargo initially didn't see it. Now he's got a beat on it.
Well, check out the on-deck rooftop ticket packages, available online only. Remember that, available online only. It's the most affordable and flexible way to purchase rooftop tickets. Visit Rockies.com/rooftop for more information. And it's packed again tonight.
Kike Hernandez, a home run and a single, 2 runs scored. Hernandez played shortstop in game 1, played center field last night. He's playing second base this evening.
Yeah, that's that versatility that Don Mattingly likes to have. This ball club, the Dodgers, stockpiled pretty good. You start putting players at the AAA level. Over 22 pitchers on that roster. 2 of them are here tonight. 19 pitchers on the AA roster in Tulsa, so 41. Typically would have at the most 30. A lot of age on that. 5 guys over 30 in AA pitching.
2-1's inside, 3-1. You know, started the ball game, folks, for the Dodgers. Game 1, they basically did it a bullpen day. Juan Nicasio, the former Rockies, started. He went 2 innings. 4 other pitchers followed. Right center field, pretty well hit again. Blackman will make the catch as Cargo tucks himself out of the way.
See how far that ball moved off the bat? That moved like 30-40 feet. I'm looking out at the flags on the scoreboard. There's not a lot of movement there. The rock pile's more straight out, but man, oh man.
Well, what do we always say, George? This time of year it starts heating up.
Hold on a second. Here's Charlie right here. Right, now watch where he catches this baseball. I know that you're getting a little hotter, but you got the humidor. Look how far he runs to get this baseball. I mean, Cargo's thinking it's over in center field. Charlie is too. Man, almost to where Cargo caught Peterson's fly ball.
Good view of that. Adrian Gonzalez hit one in the bullpen, the Rockies bullpen, last time up. He gets a breaking ball, 0-1. 2 outs, nobody on. '73rd pitch from David Hale, and a swing and a miss on a 91-mile-an-hour riding fastball.
Yeah, a rough start back in the 3rd inning where they got after him a little bit. Since then, it's settled down. Even though 2 high fly balls here in the 5th inning, settled into a pretty nice niche here. See if he can make a pitch on Adrian. That's what gets me about great hitters. You watch him, Nolan, Troy. You know, guys that can really see the spin of the baseball, and Mattingly and I talked about that. Donnie and I did the other day a little bit. You know, you come up, it's a lot of natural ability. Then after that, you see rotation on the ball. They don't get fooled often like that. Good pitch, David Hale.
Yeah, great pitch. He's now retired 8 of his last 9 after the 2-run home run by Gonzalez. 4-3, Rockies within a run. Is brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150. It's not just a truck, it's the future of tough. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. The Rockies got 2 in the third against Zack Greinke. They got a run last inning, and they have the top of the order and Charlie Blackmon up against Greinke. And one thing that seems to be a pattern for Greinke, at least the last few innings, George, which is unusual for him, is he's fallen behind hitters.
Yeah, you look at 58 pitches thrown, 35 strikes, and that's okay. But I mean, 23 balls in this, that's normally not him. He works ahead a lot more. Charlie with a base hit to lead off the inning.
And that's 3, check it, 4 straight innings. The leadoff man has singled against Greinke. The only inning that did not occur was in the first.
12 of 19 first pitch strikes so far. This ball to the right side. Charlie taking advantage of it, hit the ball hard deep to center field. This time the ground ball to the right side for a leadoff single.
DJ with a huge hit in the third inning with 2 outs. He singled sharply up the middle to drive in the Rockies' second run. Blackmon, the Rockies' big stolen base threat, 10 of 14. A more reasonable idea now that the Rockies are within a run. There's a couple of reasons that Walt has moved DJ to that 2 spot. Number one, it's kind of hard to hit a guy who's hitting 330 something in the 8 spot as good as he is down there. And the other thing it does, you get Blackmon on, Walt really likes to hit and run, and this guy is ideal to do it with.
Oh, he's a big contact guy. Doesn't strike out much either. It's ball to the right side. I mean, you can still. Some guys start defensing that also. I mean, they'll start leaving their second baseman at home and move the third, shortstop. They'll start doing some different things with DJ and then pitch to that defense. So far, so good. They haven't been able to pitch around him.
Tulo's on deck. 0-2 on LeMahieu. Sharp ground ball to second, and that base hit we discussed. And that's a Greinke, and it's a perfect feed to Rollins. Double play, 1-6-3. Strike on Troy, ground ball to third, and a fly ball to left field. No matter how many times you come to the plate, just like for you, George, no matter how many times you warm up in a bullpen and get ushered into a ball game, butterflies are floating. You saw Troy exhale as he stepped back in. It is a 6-month mental and physical grind. And Troy upset as he pops it up to short right. Hernandez makes the catch, and Greinke ends up having a 1-2-3 inning. So we'll go to the 6th inning. The Rockies trailing the Dodgers by a run.
month away from the end of All-Star game voting. The All-Star game in Cincy, July 14th. I want to show you some of the updated totals. They came out today from MLB. We'll start with the American League. A lot of Royals in there. Of course, the Royals won the AL last year. You see some of the familiar names, Cabrera's on there, Trout and all. Now let's move to the National League. And when you look at the NL, you're not going to see any Rockies on there. We were talking about Matt Carpenter. George was talking about Carpenter there at third. Holiday's in there. Some other names you know. You can vote here as this goes up the middle at the stadium. Let me show you. You just come and use the iPad. Click on the Rockies. Then you can come down and vote for any position. There's Morneau at first. We'll vote DJ at second. You get your vote in for DJ. Keep going around the lineup. Let's go Tulo. And you can go around the horn. You can vote up to 35 times on any tablet, any kind of mobile device, and you can use 5 different emails. And when you vote here at the stadium, like this kid's about to do, good job, you can get a button. Pick me a button. Yeah? Charlie Blackmon, Chuck Nasty. So get online and start voting for your favorite Rockies like they're doing here at the ballpark.
Mark, thank you. They make it easy now, don't they? Remember the days you pick up the
punch the holes.
Yeah, punch the holes in the ticket.
It stayed that way for a long time, a very long time.
Good. There was a problem with hanging chads one year, and you had to get rid of that system. Andre Ethier with Grandal aboard.
16 of 23 first pitch strikes for David Hale in this ball game. Count even up 1-1.
One and one on Ethier. That's inside. So here's where some Rockies are in the All-Star voting, and Nolan Arenado very deserving. Obviously, he's 4th right now among third basemen. DJ LeMahieu's not in the top 5.
Shocking.
And it's a competitive second base class, but DJ has all-star numbers. Slowly hit. David Hale makes a good feed to Tulo on the first double play. That's where that arm strength to Troy Tulowitzki pays dividends. He threw that 95-mile-an-hour heater over to Ben Paulson and doubled up Ethier, who runs pretty well.
And timed to when you want to use it, particularly from that left side. Easily hit out in front of Hale. He snapped it to Tulo, and you saw him get really on top of the ball. Look right here. It's not a flip sidearm. He's going to get on top, and he's going to drive that ball right through Ben Paulson. In other words, he just airing it out right on the button in the out.
And I think Andre initially thought there's no way that's going to be a double play ball. And yes, it was. 1-6-3, 2 outs, Alberto Callaspo.
I think initially he didn't think he was going to go to second. Thought he was just going to flip to first, thinking he didn't have a chance at second.
And Callaspo, it's a 2-hopper to DJ, almost lost his footing.
Good job, David Hale.
David Hale is safely through the 6th inning. Didn't look that way early, but he's done a very good job. Now the Rockies will try to overcome that 1-run deficit. 5 and 6 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code is ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. And the Rockies already won today, 6-3 in the afternoon affair. Cargo will be first against Zach Greinke. The Rockies have 7 hits off of Greinke. Cargo has 2 of them. 4 straight innings. The leadoff man has singled against the Dodger co-ace, 2-time All-Star, Cy Young Award winner. Won a Gold Glove. He's won a Silver Slugger. 31-year-old native of Orlando, Florida. Well, everything said fastball, according to what he had done in the past against Cargo, and he started him off with a curveball.
Now, something off speed. It reminds me of the way Lincecum pitches him. You know, Lincecum likes to work off speed first pitch, keep everything away from him all the time. They're going out there again. This time fastball, they'll miss off the plate. That fastball registered 90 miles an hour. Took something off of him.
Pitch probability calls for the fastball again here on the 1-1 count. And Cargo hits a comebacker.
Change up at 88. Is he not reading what he's been doing?
You know, probably he has been reading what he's been doing and changing the pattern.
Yeah.
1 gone. Here comes Arenado. Nolan a sharp single to left. He's 1 for 2. Splash this foul ball into the seats down the right field line. 0-1. Greinke last year was an all-star season for him. He won a career best 17 games, 17-8 in 32 starts for Los Angeles. Outside with the heater. 202+ innings, struck out 207. In 2013, his first year in Dodger blue, he went 15-4. This is pulled to Rollins.
Well, you look back winning percentage, and you're going back almost 5 years, 2011. Since the start of 2011, Zach Greinke has the best winning percentage. You start to look at some of those names on the list: Max Scherzer, Kershaw, Jared Weaver, and Ivan Nova. You look at all those 39-20, but 68-24, 78 wins, 76-27, 76-29. Greinke has been the best.
That's why that 1-2 combination of Kershaw and Greinke, tough to beat. There's a 2-out single for Ben Paulson. He's been on twice. Really got to appreciate the approach the Rockies have had against Greinke.
Well, they're just going after. Some guys are going after first pitch fastball. You know, Greinke's missing his few spots. They want that ball outside corner, even though Grandal's in the inside, and Greinke's not happy about it. He goes, dadgummit, put the pitch in where I want to, looks inside at Grandal. My fault, it didn't hit the right location. It cost me.
Nick Hundley, 1 for 2. Got an RBI ground out in the 4th inning. 5 home runs for Hundley, 17 driven in. Too far inside. Ball 1 on Nick. Just 2 strikeouts for Greinke. Another indication the Rockies are doing a Good job grinding out at bats. Boy, a ton of room in left center field. One ball, one strike. Jock Peterson is kind of shallow and about 15 yards toward right center.
See, a lot of that, when you have guys like Greinke, you have guys like Kershaw, you say, all right, I'm going to pitch you away. Well, 90% of the time, that fastball is going to be elevated 92 to 94 miles an hour. It's tough, and unless you're cheating, it's tough to turn on it. So I'm just going to play you into right center and take it from there. Brooks Brown's warming up in the Rockies bullpen right now. What happens bad is when you hang the slider and the guy hits it in the left center and everybody runs forever. We'll pitch to the defense.
Last inning was a 6-pitch inning for David Hale.
Well, I think he's going back out, but you got to have somebody up in case you bunch a couple of hits together. Now you got to, Brandon Barnes, they could get some hits here out of Hundley and Barnes. You got to have a pinch hitter ready.
Yep.
But you got to have your bullpen ready too. The last thing you want to do is short a guy down on the bullpen as warm-up pitches.
Yeah, and then the warm-up pitches leak into the game.
Well, I mean, you can stall down there and get a few more, but then you're not ready when you come in. It's difficult to do for a lot of guys.
Three and one on Hundley. And this ball's driven to right center field and deep, and it is off the wall. Paulson gets a green light from Stu Cole. Here's the throw to the plate. Safe! All the way to third is Hundley, and we have a tie ball game. Nick Hundley coming through with 2 outs.
Second RBI of the game for Nick Hundley as he drove this ball into right center field. What a big base hit with 2 outs. Second time in the game that it's happened for the Rockies with base hits with 2 outs. They did this when they won consistently, is getting those hits when you need to. And right now, Zach Greinke not happy. That ball away from him. Peterson playing very shallow along with Andre Ethier. It did not hit off the pads. It hit the fence. Strong throw by Hernandez on the money here, but not in time. Ben Polson going to swing wide of home plate and then get the hand in before the tag's applied. Well, look at this. We're using that 6'3" frame to be able to get back to it. It slid past. The tag happened on the shoulder. Watch his hand come in, then the tag applied. Good look at it.
They're going after Barnes with first base open. The pitch is on the black for a strike. Boy, how big have the catchers been? The hitting star in game 1, Mike McHenry, he hit a 2-run home run, drove in 3.
5 RBIs between them today.
That's right. Hundley with a pair of ribbies. Here in game 2, there's a base hit to right. So they elect to pitch to Barnes, and he burns it with a line shot single to give the Rockies a 5-4 lead.
Now, most runs given up by Greinke this year, and you see the ball's elevated more, and you see the ball get hit very hard. Rick Honeycutt and Don Mattingly, a meeting of the minds about Zach Greinke as this ball club, the Rockies, are coming up with nothing but high fives, and they're doing it all with 2 outs. That's the exciting part of this. Look at this. This ball's very elevated in the zone, missed by 2.5, 3 feet. And Brandon Barnes, who's come back up and has just electrified this lineup with his play, comes up with another 2-out base hit. Oh man, the bottom of this lineup today, 4 for 6, and they've scored 3 runs.
Really all year. This ball's toward Rollins, and he'll get Descalso by going the short way. The Rockies down by a 4-0 count, now have a 5-4 lead as we go to the 7th.
5-4 Colorado. They've out-hit the Dodgers 10-7. Let's take another overhead look after the triple by Nick Hundley into right field. The slide, boy, this ball was hit very far into right center field. The ball is going to be picked up. Ben Polson will come around to score. A double given to Hundley. He advanced on the throw. As he went into second base, the throw's coming home. Nick Hundley picked up the speed, headed there, as well as Polson scoring at home plate. What a beautiful slide. You see it on the Subaru Supermo. Hand in before the tag from Grandal, and a 5-4 lead. And the Rockies will turn it over to Brooks Brown, who has been outstanding. Brown with 9 holes on the year. Tied for 4th in the National League. Romo leads it with 15. 17 games he's appeared in, 17 2/3 with 12 strikeouts, only 6 walks. Left-handers hitting just 192 against, and Jimmy Rollins will be the first that he faces. Rollins in his career 1-for-1 against Brown.
So how about David Hale? He's down 4-0. He's watching in the 3rd inning. Guys trot around the bases against him. And now he's sitting in the dugout with a chance to beat the Dodgers, up 5-4.
Did a great job.
Change up to Rollins, misses ball 1. Last time we saw Brooks Brown on Sunday, he inherits the 7th inning with the Rockies ahead 5-2, a bases loaded, nobody out situation, and all he did was strike out the 3 batters he faced to get the Rockies out of it. Philadelphia never had a hope after that. Struck him out on 11 pitches. 2-0 on Rollins. 3-0.
Second straight start for David Hale without a walk. No freebies.
Well, that's not good. There's first walk, and it comes on 4 pitches. Bring up Chris Heisey. David Hale, 6 innings, 4 runs, all of them earned, 7 hits. But as George said, didn't walk a soul. He struck out 5. Gave up 3 home runs, but he and the Rockies are now ahead 5-4. It's the first time Greinke's allowed 5 runs or more in a game since June 23rd of last year in Kansas City. Justin Turner in the on-deck circle for the Dodgers. And something else to keep in mind as the latter third of this game unfolds. The Dodgers, because they elected to have a bullpen day in game 1, used 5 pitchers.
They did. Now they replaced 2 fresh arms with their AAA arms that have just got called up. They haven't had a lot of big league experience. Jimmy Rollins on the year. 5 stolen bases. He's been caught 4 times. He's gotten the attention of Brooks Brown. Interesting note on Brooks Brown. Anytime he gets 2 strikes on a hitter, they are 1 for 29. Just get ahead, Brooks. Josh Raven is up and throwing in the bullpen, a former Cincinnati Red. Very hard thrower. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago when I saw him. I'll put it that way.
Another check on Rollins.
Out of character, you get 4 out of the 6 pitches, 4 out of the 5 pitch, 5 out of the 6 pitches thrown for balls.
On Heisey. And swinging strike 2, 1-2. 7th inning. The Rockies leading 5-4, a game they trailed 4-0 after 2.5.
Back to that 2-strike count, talked about it. The opposition 1 for 29 when Brown gets 2 strikes on you. He stayed pretty much in the middle of the plate though. The elevated fastball on the last, 94 miles an hour.
One, two, and that's on the knuckles, fouled off. Tuesday evening crowd. Rockies will play the Dodgers tomorrow evening. We're on the air at 5:30 with the pregame show. It's about a half hour earlier. 6 o'clock game. Rollins takes off and it's slowly hit to third. One play for Nolan on first. So the first 2 1-2 pitches, they don't put Rollins in motion, and they do there, and it paid off for the Dodgers. He's in scoring position with 1 out. And now it'll be Justin Turner batting for Zach Greinke. And for the first time this year, Greinke did not have a quality start. Rockies got after him.
10 hits, 5 runs given up. This first 10,000 to the gates tomorrow. We're going to see the Rockies Beach Towels, all sponsored by King Soopers. So make sure that you get out to be one of those first 10,000. Pick up your beach towel. This is where, for me, Jacob Turner, he's just a scary guy. Justin Turner, excuse me, a scary guy in the respect that he's got 2 home runs. He doesn't hit a lot of hits as a pinch hitter, but he hits the long ball. He sets dead red fastball first pitch like a lot of pinch hitters will do. And they'll try to ambush it early with a runner in scoring position.
He has a big old leg kick, and he didn't get that hard sinking fastball at 93. It's 0-1.
Both ball clubs working with a short bench. They just have 4 in theirs also because of the doubleheader, adding extra pitchers. Sent Barnes, the catcher, down right in between the ball games.
Two-strike count on Turner. The Isotopes, Matt McBride with another home run. He had a slow start, and he has taken off the last month.
He's swung the bat really well.
Good player. Hard not to be a big fan of Matt McBride.
Been through a lot of difficulties, neck surgeries, back surgeries, all kinds of things. Shoulder surgery in college.
He can hit. Jimmy looked like one of those Ninja Warriors. Watch that show, George?
I don't watch it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Got to go to all 4s, flip around. Still pretty agile in his mid-30s. DJ trying to keep it close. 0-2, and that's bounced foul. Boone Logan going for the Rockies in their bullpen. Boone got 5 outs in game 1 of the doubleheader. Jimmy Garcia also has joined Josh Raven.
Well, I think if they stay down 1-5-4, Raven will be in. If not, Garcia will be in. John Mattingly not going to put a whole lot of pressure on Josh Raven any first coming out of the chute at Coors Field.
0-2 on Turner. Good block. Outstanding block by Nick Hundley.
But see, if your misses are minimal, it's so much easier on the catcher. You know, but if you call slider there and you miss by 1.5 feet and you're jumping out to block it, it just makes it so much harder. But when your misses are, you know, the plate's 18 inches from black to black. So if you take it out to 24 on your misses each way, what an easier job to only move 6 inches to block a ball versus 12 or 14. And you know that's where you're throwing it on an 0-2 count. I want it into dirt.
Ground ball to third. Nolan will hold the runner. 2 outs. Now do you go get Logan to face Jock Peterson? That's the decision that Walt's got to make.
Yeah, so far he's sitting in that dugout.
Usually if you're going to make the move, once you hear the announcement, that's when you'll see a manager move. But one thing to keep in mind, Walt has great confidence in Brooks Brown to get left-handed hitters out.
They haven't hit against him.
They haven't hit against him. He has said it many times. Which, as you well know, George, what an advantage to have a right-handed setup guy that gets lefties out. So you don't always have to go, oh, here comes a quality left-handed hitter. I got to go bring a lefty in.
Late in the game with a lead.
Peterson scares the dickens out of everybody right now because he's locked in and he's not hitting singles or doubles. All he's hitting are balls that travel about 450.
Tons of souvenirs. This one went really deep at Coors Field. The first ball game, even impressive to Kershaw. Van Slyke, who just went on the DL today. Adrian Peterson's like, son, I used to hit him that far. There's Logan and Oberg now both up and throwing.
Runner going and no throw. Rollins swipes third and puts a little more heat on Nick Hundley. There are 2 outs. Rollins, all likelihood, was going to score on any kind of hit, but now kind of dirt ball. You got to smother if you're Hundley.
Well, he does a good job of that. He has the confidence to do that. So I think that's why he didn't snap throw to third base. You don't want to run the chance with Nolan on the move. All of a sudden throwing it away and then allow Rollins to walk in. I'll just go right at the hitter here. LA 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position tonight. The Rockies are 2 for 5.
Here's the 1-1 to Peterson. 2-1. Swung on and missed.
Well, it's 2-0 count. He threw another changeup. I mean, you're not going to see that. That's an 0-2 count, right?
No, it was a 2-1. It was a 2-1
count. But you're not looking for that. You're looking for a changeup. See it come right out of the hand. You're not looking for that. And the ball just dived completely out of in front of home plate.
Well, we saw him throw 3 straight against Ben Revere to strike him out to get out of that bases loaded mess. See if he doubles up here. Jock Peterson, his last 5 hits have all been home runs, going back to a weekend set for the Dodgers in St. Louis. Rockies up 5-4, 2 outs in the 7th. 2-2 on Peterson. And a fly ball to left. This should stay playable for Barnes near the wall, and no.
You know, that wind.
Wind took it out of play initially.
It was about 25 feet in fair territory initially. And then just keep carrying it, pushed it away from Barnes and up into the seats. Got such a big swing. I mean, a good fastball inside. Put it in on his fist and bust him up. He'd be pretty good right here. Going back, ask for the changeup. Got the nod from Barnes, the nod from Hundley, or from Brown.
Line drive, deep center field. Blackman can't get it. That'll tie up the game, and Peterson is headed toward third, and the throw won't get him. Jock Peterson's been a one-man wrecking crew. He ties it up with a 2-strike triple, his first triple of the year. And it's 5-5.
Well, I tell you, you talk about a kid with some kind of strength and bat speed. I mean, he was fooled on this pitch from Brooks Brown. They tried to go back to the changeup. Did you go once too often, or is it the location? Subaru Supermo will tell you all of that. That changeup a little more elevated, but with that long, big swing, it reminds me a little bit of a young Carlos Gonzalez, upright and a big, long swing covering the home plate area. The ball just continues to travel off of his bat into right center field to drive in the run.
Bear down here. Hernandez at the plate. He's swung it well tonight. 2 for 3, including a home run. The one time the Rockies got him out, it was a deep fly ball to center. Ball's in the air to deep right center, but playable for Blackman. That'll end the inning. The Dodgers get the equalizer as Rollins scores on the triple by Peterson. It's 5-5, middle of 7th. #1 volume Lexus dealer. It was all Dodgers early. Jock Peterson hit a long home run. Adrian Gonzalez hit a 2-run shot. Kike Hernandez also hit the home run in there. And the Rockies slowly came back, scored a couple, and then this was the equalizer as Nick Hundley brought home the tying run, and then Brandon Barnes drives in Nick Hundley to give the Rockies a 5-4 lead. But then on a 2-2 pitch, Jock Peterson, the terrific rookie for the Dodgers, one-hands one about 420 feet. And he brings home Jimmy Rollins. So that's where we are, 5-5, as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Justin Turner stays in the game. Kike Hernandez comes out, and Yimi Garcia is now in.
Yeah, hard-throwing right-hander. They had Raven up, and until they got it tied, this guy wouldn't. As soon as they got it tied up, it was coming this way. 95-mile-an-hour heater, strike 1 on the knees. Now Garcia for the season, 24th appearance for him, 291 earned run average, 21 2/3. You see the big number, 36 strikeouts. The opposition not doing a lot, left or right. Just 3 home runs given up total on the year.
And this is a high pop-up, shallow center field. Rollins goes out. He gets called off by Peterson. A little more difficult than I think Jock wanted it to be. You don't want to catch the ball below your eyes, especially while you're moving. But he makes the catch, 1 out. DJ LeMahieu will come up. Garcia last pitched on Sunday, went 2/3 of an inning, gave up a couple hits. He struck out 36 in 21 2/3. That's second among National League relievers. LeMahieu, an RBI single in the third. 2 hits in the afternoon affair. Rockies 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Los Angeles.
Or tough arm angle too. Low 3/4. Last pitch 97 miles an hour.
Two and one on DJ. And that's in there at 96. Two. Take some mystery out of it, George.
Not a lot. There are a couple of sliders, but they were way off of the plate. They just yanked them out of the zone. 90 pounds at 5 out of the 7 pitches have been fastballs, and they've been strikes. Trying to throw an elevated fastball at 95 by DJ. Didn't get there.
So this one will be decided by the bullpen. Zach Greinke will get a no decision. David Hale, who pitched well, will get a no decision. Got to be really pleased with that. Hale turned that ball game around.
I'm telling you. You're starting to think there for a second if you Walt Weiss and Foster, you're sitting there thinking, man, he gives up 3, and we're looking at it in the 3rd inning. We just played a ball game. How are we going to work our bullpen through this if we got to go there early? And he settled in. He gave you talk about quality game. 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. He didn't walk a batter. Second straight start for that.
He retired 10 of his last 12 after the Gonzalez 2-run home run. Another 2-2 on DJ. And DJ will wear out Garcia. Mattingly may have to make a pitching change in the middle of this at bat if it continues. Oh, a little bit of an exaggeration. You all right, partner?
I'm good. I'm wonderful.
Good eye. Finally went to the slider. Next pitch will be number 10 of the at bat.
Ooh, how do you take it? Glad he did.
Four-year-old Yimi Garcia from the Dominican Republic. And that's a rocket back up the middle. What an at-bat for DJ LeMahieu. What a first half for DJ LeMahieu. Go ahead, run on for Tulowitzki.
Yeah, how about that? Absolutely. With that was a great at-bat. The slider at 85 hung right up into the zone, backed everything off. And went right back up the middle, took advantage of it for a base hit, and work it into Tulo and Cargo. Now trying to take advantage of a little bit more.
Troy 0 for 3. Goes slider and misses. Ball one. Bottom of 7, 5-5 affair. And it's 2-0. Pretty good speed at first, and LeMahieu with one out. Good day so far for the Rockies. It could be a great day if they can win these final couple of innings.
Tell you what, that was an elevated, some heat right there. Maneuver your way through this thing. Trying to time, is he going to have he's got to mix his leg kick somewhat, but at 95 you can have a little higher leg kick because you're going to get to home plate a little quicker. Grandal, if you're wondering, is thrown out. 8 of 17 would be base stealers. He's had 4 pass balls, 14 wild pitches so far in the season.
Good swing by Troy. Likes the ball up in the zone. Kid, he didn't want to sit, man. He realizes where we are in the baseball game. I don't want to stand. Two and two. Quality of at bats, and that's what Walt Weiss looks at night to night. Blake Doyle, the Rockies hitting coach. Same thing on the Dodgers side. The quality of at bats for the Rockies all day have been outstanding. Great ABs against Greinke, good ABs here against Garcia. This ball driven high and deep center field, way back, and there she goes. 2-run home run, Troy Tulowitzki, and the Rockies take a 7-5 lead. That's the Tulowitzki Lodo loves.
5th home run of the season for Troy Tulowitzki. Yeah, there ought to be some hugs in that dugout. Here's the fastball. He just fouled one back in to the boxes here. Not this one. But after he hit this ball, what I liked about it, this right here. Watch this, folks. You tell me he isn't fired up, yelling at the Rockies dugout about it, and puts them up 7-5.
That was reminiscent of the famous shot from, I believe, 2007 when he had a game winner. 2-run home run, and the Rockies up 7-5. two tremendous at-bats. You see DJ in the foreground. Here's the ball that Tulo hits out. I mean, that is square.
Oh, boy. That's got a flat side, folks, on the bat and the ball. Man, oh, man, watch the travel of this baseball to dead center field.
You don't hit many no-doubters straight away in any ballpark. That was a no-doubter. You had a 10-pitch at bat, and then LeMahieu almost took the cap off of Yimi Garcia, and that was a fairly lengthy at bat before Tulo goes deep. Here's Adam Liberatore.
Well, I've said this many times that an old scout, Tom Greenaway, who signed Mickey Mantle, tells you how old he is that he used to tell me when they fouling it off straight back, they're right on it. When you see it fouling left and right, there's some movement on it. He fouled off 2 straight heaters straight back. 16th game for Liberatore, 29 earned run average.
One ball, one strike. Carr goes 2 for 3. For Troy, that's his first home run this year in the 7th inning or later. Obviously, he's a little behind in what he normally puts up home run wise, his 5th of the year, but that was enormous. Cargo hits the ball in the air to left. Heisey will make the catch. 2 outs. Now the Rockies have hit that magic number. They have 7 runs. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Arenado with 2 outs will face Liberatore. You have Logan and Oberg working in the 8th because the Dodgers will have Adrian Gonzalez leading off, Grandal, and then Ethier. So you have a switch hitter in the middle and 2 left-handed bats. But you want to have Oberg ready just in case. A reminder again that Boone Logan got 5 outs in game 1.
Now, the pitcher's going to determine to the manager whether he could go or not, and he's warming up, so he can go. If he couldn't, he'd tell him.
And this is in the air to right. Ethier waiting for it. The Rockies got a base hit from LeMahieu, and Troy Tulowitzki blasts one to dead center. And the game now shifts toward the Rockies. 7-5 Colorado as we go to the 8th. Tulowitzki spent a good portion of that day taking extra BP by his lonesome in Philadelphia. Then he went out the next night against Cole Hamels, who's throwing the ball as well as any pitcher in baseball. He hit 2 solo home runs his first 2 times up, on his way to a 4-for-4 day, and he has looked very much like Troy Tulowitzki the last week now. He just hit a 455-foot 2-run home run, and the Rockies, who were down 4-0 to the Dodgers, now have a 7-5 lead in the 8th. Boone Logan will take over. It's the thick part of that lineup for LA. Adrian Gonzalez, Yasmani Grandal, and Andre Ethier. Adrian Gonzalez, a 2-run home run back in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3. As we discussed last inning, with Boone Logan warming up, he got 5 outs. Late game number 1, a 6-3 Rockies victory. And the first pitch on the inside corner for a strike, zipped over at 93. So Boone only 20 pitches to navigate those 5 outs in the afternoon affair. Here's the 0-1, and that's strike 2. I think Adrian Gonzalez, thinking he's going to get sliders, gets 2 fastballs painted on both edges of the plate. Shift on for Adrian, and swung on, foul tip, held by Nick Hundley. 3 pitches, and Boone Logan has struck out Adrian Gonzalez. Went right after him with a fastball, one of the harder fastballs we've seen from Boone, 94 miles an hour. This was a guy early in his career with the White Sox who would regularly hit 97 or 98. And Walt saying, "You got the guy I wanted you to get. Job well done." And now he'll ask for the baseball and pass the baton to Scott Oberg. 1 out in the 8th inning. Rockies up 7. Chatting as Scott Oberg completes his warm-up pitches. It's time for the CenturyLink link to what's next. Mike Bolsinger, who's been really impressive for the Dodgers. Rockies have seen him once. And Chad Bettis, speaking of impressive, his last couple of outings, nothing short of outstanding. Good pitching matchup tomorrow evening, and we're on a half hour earlier tomorrow, 5:30 on our pregame show here on Root Sports. And then the baseball game about 40 minutes later. So Oberg settling into a setup role and doing quite nicely of late. Will face Yasmani Grandal.
Like a lot of closers, they're strike throwers, and that's exactly what he is. 17 1/3, just 3 walks. Off-break slider, first pitch. Grandal out on the road, 4 home runs, an average of .321 and 56 at bats. And a
bouncing ball to second. What a funny hop to DJ. Has the soft hands, grabbed it, 2 outs. Andre Ethier will come up.
Interesting note, the Dodgers 1-12 on the year when trailing after the 7th inning. That's a good note.
Ethier's 0 for 3. Oberg with the curveball that is beneath the knees.
2-run lead as a reliever, you come in, you want to attack the zone. You want to work ahead, get strikes, get after it. You know, the thing is, you challenge a guy. If he hits a home run, he hits a home run. It's just 1 run. You're still winning the ball game. But if you walk a guy, now you start to get into that blue area, that gray area, I should say, to where, you know, now you got to make pitch after pitch in order to do things. The Rockies bullpen is quiet. Solberg's inning to finish it up. He got his first save the other day with 61 minor league saves under the belt. So he got his first third deck save the other day.
2-0 fastball for a strike. 96 on that fastball.
It's a big arm. It's a very good arm.
Ground ball right at Troy. He's got it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. The combination of Boone Logan and Scott Oberg. We move on to the bottom of the 8th. The Rockies ahead 7-5. Any guesses? 5-5 game. Troy Tulowitzki as fired up as we've seen him all year. 455-foot 2-run home run. 7-5 Colorado. Adam Liberatore strike on Ben Paulson here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Drew Goodman with George Frazier and Mark Stout.
And Garcia had only given up 3 home runs in like 20-something innings. He's punched out 37. And he fought off so many good fastballs, mid-90s, high 90s fastball, and in the last one, the Ducks got to swim with it.
Good afternoon for Ben Paulson. A home run in game number 1, a walk and a single in 3 plate appearances this evening. Wondering, is Liberatore just in there to face the left-handed hitting Paulson? He's in there for the duration, it appears, because there's no Dodger up right now throwing in their bullpen. Again, they used 5 pitchers in that first game. And that was basically by design.
And he was one they did not use.
Right, he was one they did not use. They started Juan Nicasio, the former Rocky. He went 2 innings. He was on a pitch count. He was only going to throw about 35 pitches.
41 is what he threw in those 2 innings.
3-2.
Rafael Betancourt has warmed up, or is warming up, I should say, the Rockies bullpen.
Axford got the save this afternoon.
Impressive way of doing it, too. Rafael Betancourt recorded an out in that ball game. Hey, watch out. Every out-of-market game live in HD or more than 400 devices with MLB.TV Premium. The #1 live streaming of sports service, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more every night on every device.
Another pitch wasted by Paulson.
It's kind of unfair, but I used to say that all the time in the bullpen. You see a foul ball going to stand, you always yell headache. Watch your lips. Conversation in the dugout. So when it gets hit now, it's just natural to say headache. Most people probably would say look out.
Most people.
I don't think they would hear me. They didn't hear me say headache either.
Is hit to shallow center. Peterson's going to get there.
Yeah, high enough flight that allowed him to get there to make a catch.
I still haven't figured out why on the golf course we don't yell look out on an area
You
shot.
say it a lot. You don't say 4, you say look out. It's usually in the houses about 20 feet off the fairway.
Easy.
Yeah, this is what we talked about in the open today. About 50+% of the time, the sweep doubleheader since 2000, almost 53, 05, 51, and then since 2010, 52%. It'd be a big deal for the Rockies. You go to 5.5 back. Huh? How about that? A week ago, you're 9.5 back. Now all of a sudden, you're 5.5 back. In a good 10 days.
Nick Hundley, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. He had that 2-out double to tie up the game. He brought home Ben Paulson from first base. He doubled off the top of the right center field wall. And then Brandon Barnes right behind him, a bullet to right against Zach Greinke to give the Rockies at the time a 5-4 advantage. Dodgers got a run off Brooks Brown on a 2-out triple by Jock Peterson. But Brooks Brown right now is on the plus side for the Rockies. Yimi Garcia is on the other end of things. The 1-1 on Nick, and that is a fair ball. Broken back, liner down the left field line, and Hundley into second with a double. It's a 3-hit ball game for Nick, including a pair of doubles.
Well, the bottom of this order, just look at the offense that's coming out of the bottom of the order. 5 hits now with the 7 and 8 hole hitters, just fair by about an inch or 2. 3 runs scored, RBIs. There's been 3 by the bottom of the lineup, 2 of them coming with 2 outs, 2 big RBIs with 2 outs, and it continues here with Brandon Barnes swinging the bat, Rosario in the on deck circle to pitch hit.
Two singles and 3 at bats for Barnes. 2 opportunities for the Rockies to increase their lead to 3 runs. And that should get it done. Cutting the bag at third. Here comes Hundley. Peterson's throw too high. And Barnes read the throw, sailing over Gonzalez's head. He's into second. It's 6-3 Colorado. George, you're right. Hundley and Barnes, 6 hits at the bottom of the lineup and 4 ribbies.
Huge. And they've scored 4 runs on top of that. Big hit after big hit. And another one from Barnes. The left-hander gets to stay in the ball game. Low fastball, that's not where they wanted it. And I tell you what, Barnes just opened the front side and let the bat do the work for him. And Nick Hundley came around to score. The high throw from Peterson in center. That allowed Barnes to switch places and get into second base. They will walk Rosario, the right-handed hitting Rosario, and let Liberatore face the left-handed hitting Charlie Blackmon.
Well, it's been 2 weeks basically since Paulson came up and Barnes came up. And they have brought energy and productivity. And I don't think it's any coincidence that the Rockies have taken off over the last 10 or 12 days with those two guys in prominent roles.
Well, I would agree with you. And last year, Brandon Barnes, one of the top right-handed pinch hitters in all of baseball, had a bad spring, didn't make the team, wasn't particularly hitting for a high average down there, but a lot of loud outs. If you talk to Glenn Hill, you talk to Dave Hatching, they would tell you line drive outs, hitting the ball well, implemented the toe tap, staying back longer. But since he's come up here, I mean, that football mentality, and you say it best, I mean, football mentality, you run through a brick wall, dive for a ball, swing, do anything you can to win a baseball game. Brandon Barnes does just that.
He brought an energy. And it wasn't just an energy. I mean, the guy's hitting above 350.
Yeah, what I like also about Paulson, he's one of those guys in the organization was climbing very quickly as a top prospect because he was drafted high, struggled 1 or 2 years. He just kind of disappeared. You didn't hear his name anymore. He persevered, continued to work hard, and got his shot a year ago. Swung at bat extremely well, and he's doing it again.
As Charlie takes outside ball 1. Still just 1 out. 8 runs on 14 hits for the Rockies. Barnes at second. Rosario after the intentional pass at first. Well, he was also blocked, George, by Todd Helton for.
That's why he went to the outfield a little bit last year to get a chance to start to maybe figure that out.
This ball's loud to left field and deep, and a nice catch out there by Heisey. Blackmon gave it a ride.
There's 2 balls that have resulted in an out for Charlie Blackmon. One of them was 400 feet to center. That one was 360 to left on the line. You know, Don Mattingly's going to flip switch. He'll make a double switch here. Guerrero's starting to go out to the outfield, he thinks. He started to go out and stopped. And, okay, now I get to go.
Well, when the inning started, as we told you, there was no one warming up at the Dodgers bullpen. But as the Rockies were smacking the ball all over the yard, Josh Raven got up. This is the young man who was brought up from Oklahoma City as the 26th man. You can expand for game 2 by 1 if you have to play a doubleheader. It's part of baseball rule book right now. 8-5 Rockies. Raven when we come back. Left field, Chad Heisey, who is in left, will flip over to right. Andre Ethier, who made the final out, will come out of the ball game. And Josh Raven's on the mound. This is his major league debut. His minor league career began in 2006.
An extremely hard thrower, I can tell you that. 27 years old, 6'4", 230 pounds. Was in the Reds organization as a starter for a number of years. Has been on the 40-man roster, has been claimed. That last fastball, 98. That's the kind of velocity you see from him. It's a command issue. Over time is what's cost Josh Raven time and getting to the big leagues quicker. Started the year, pitched a few ball games at Tulsa, then has been in AAA with Oklahoma City. Those two teams just 88 miles apart. Makes it pretty convenient to run guys back and forth.
209 minor league appearances. Way inside. Three pitches, all at 98.
Oh, he throws hard now. This is a big guy. Again, it's been consistency. When he was a starting pitcher, he walked too many. They said, all right, let's take that arm, move it to the bullpen. Cincinnati organization did.
Struck out 30 this year and 20 innings at Oklahoma City. Runner moving at the top. Barnes got a big jump.
That's not a bad move because Raven, obviously, it's his major league debut. Got a lot going through that mind right now, even though it's in a ball game that you're trailing by 3 runs. Fall asleep, get over to third base. You never know, this rookie might bounce a hook somewhere afterwards.
Two and two with 2 outs. DJ 2 for 4 and strike 3 on LeMahieu. So the Rockies get another run. A double by Hundley, a run-scoring base hit by Barnes. 6-3. Excuse me, 8-5. Colorado looking for 3 more outs. And they're 3 outs away from sweeping the Dodgers in a double dip. Jenny, pretty good afternoon and evening so far.
You're exactly right, and beautiful weather to add to it. Drew, coming up on the Toyota Post-Game Show, we're going to talk a little catch me if you can. The Rockies have used their catchers in Game 1 and Game 2. Michael McHenry proved huge offensively in Game 1, and now it's Nick Hundley picking up where McHenry left off. They are 5 for 8 with 5 RBI. We're also going to talk about the 26th man, David Hale, added to the roster to start tonight. He went toe-to-toe with Zach Greinke, and you got to talk about the Tulo breaker. Troy Tulowitzki's home run breaking the tie and opening the offensive floodgates. Gotta love it, Drew. Let's finish things out.
Sounds like a great idea. You'll have plenty to talk about in that Toyota post-game show. So Troy Tulowitzki, as Jenny discussed, gave the Rockies a 7-5 lead. It's now 8-5, and Rafael Betancourt looking for his 2nd save of the year. Saved the ball game at AT&T against the Giants on April the 13th. Rafi was utilized in Game 1 by Walt Weiss. He got an out late in the ball game.
Worked at 92 miles an hour in that first ball game. Remarkable. A man 40 years old, been through Tommy John and rehab. Not surprised that he's back throwing. I mean, this guy's got tremendous work ethic, but No velocity lost, velocity added. He threw the ball very well in that first ball game, and he'll try to get things going here and get a quick inning.
Yeah, you and I both noticed that. He was a little about to tick up on his fastball in game one. Here's Callaspo. And that cut fastball at 91 is inside ball one. Callaspo a single in the fourth inning, 1 for 3. Callaspo, Jimmy Rollins, and Chris Heisey. Bottom portion of the Dodgers lineup, 6, 7, and 8. 8-5 Rockies. And there's a strike.
Callaspo in his career 1 for 4 against Rafael Betancourt. It was a single.
Two and one. Two and two on the veteran Callaspo with the Braves until a few days ago, part of that Juan Uribe trade. Two. Rafael made an appearance in Philadelphia over the weekend and had to depart after 2 hitters and a 4-pitch walk with flu-like symptoms, and he was battling it for about 48 hours. He was really under the weather. 3-2 and a base hit.
Hey, first 10,000 through the gates this Sunday. That's right. This Sunday, you're going to receive a Troy Tulowitzki bobblehead, all sponsored by Rapid City. Come early. All gates open at noon. First 10,000 fans. Rockies.com/promotions to be able to get that ticket online. Now, they might be in his mid-30s, but he's very quick. Going to be difficult to turn the double play with Callaspo and Rollins unless it's hit hard right at somebody.
You know this drill, George. You're up 3 runs, just get outs.
That's right. You don't care how they do it. Don't try to force anything or out the strike zone. Jimmy Rollins in his career facing Rafael Betancourt, he is also 1 for 4.
Dodgers had a 4-0 lead after 2.5 innings. Kike Hernandez a solo home run in the first, then in the third against David Hale, Jock Peterson hit another monstrosity of a home run. Hernandez singled after that. Adrian Gonzalez hit a 2-run home run. Did not look good for the Rockies or David Hale, but he really settled in. And this is back up the middle, and that's a base hit. And now you have the tying run coming up in Chris Heisey.
Yeah, you look at their bench too. It's very short, but here's the fastball. I tell you what, that was way away. That's changeup at 83 miles an hour. I misread that as a fast-running, sinking fastball. That was a good foot off of the plate that Jimmy Rollins took right back up the middle. These two have never, ever had a matchup in either one of their careers. Heisey, of course, normally a 4th outfielder with Cincinnati. They've been one of the times that Raphael could have faced him.
And that's a base hit. 3 straight singles. They'll hold the runner at third. And they have the bases loaded for a dangerous man in Justin Turner.
Turner against Betancourt 0 for 2 in his career, and Foster's going to go out very quick. Steve Foster, the pitching coach, and have a conversation with Raphael Betancourt. Let's see where this pitch is. Elevated, and it ball's up in the zone, and Ralphie normally stays down in his zone pretty consistently. Tommy Canely has grabbed the baseball down in the bullpen, and he was firing in a hurry. He worked an inning plus last night. He was able to work through that, but this is the guy you want on the hill right now.
And obviously John Axford not available. He saved the afternoon game.
There's Tommy Canely.
It's the Rockies and the Dodgers. You know it's going to be interesting and never easy. With nobody out, bases loaded. The Rockies up 8-5. Turner at the plate. Go foul. That's foul.
Boy, he went up with the pinch hitter's mentality. I'm just going to look nothing but straight. Dead heat. If it gets on that inside corner, I'm going to try to turn on it. Axford threw 22 pitches in game 1. And it's all the work in between the days prior to. Consecutive days prior to. Can't go, can't go. Canely had 15 saves in Albuquerque.
Ball and a strike.
Surprise, I like it. 77-mile-an-hour curveball.
Doesn't throw many of those.
No, it's mostly in the top of the zone. Chris Guccione gives him the strike call. He just flipped this thing up right a little bit at the top part of the zone, but in the middle plate. And I looked at the expression on Turner. He was like, "Really? I haven't seen you throw one of these to me in forever." That just opens up another thought process in the hitter's mind.
1-2. Got it. Big strikeout there. 1 gone in the 9th inning.
You know what? This is all set up. I'm telling you, all set up by that curveball. Look at that swing. Such a defensive. I don't want to swing at this. What am I doing? And he went all the way around on it in a big way. Well, nowhere to put this guy. You're going to have to make a pitch on this young rookie. He's put on quite a display today. Earlier against De La Rosa, he hits it out into right center field, about 10 rows up. Tonight's ball game, same thing, but it was dead center field.
He literally has over 900 feet of home runs today.
That's one way of putting it, right?
The first one went 477. That second one was in the same neighborhood. We never got an official distance. Everybody on the edge of their seat. And this ball's popped up, shallow left, long run for Barnes, and he'll get there. Nice. But you're still not out of the woods because the kid coming up next also has tremendous pop. The young kid from Havana, Cuba, Alex Guerrero. First at bat for Guerrero. Came in a double switch in the midst of the Rockies rally in the 8th inning.
There's no history between these two, nor should there be. Very young major league career. Yeah, this is where the veteran part really comes in big for Betancourt, because a lot of guys that would get that second out, kind of just that breath just exhale out. This is a veteran knowing, hey, I got to bear down even more. This thing isn't over. I got to make a pitch. A lot of younger guys would have felt like, hey, all right, I got that second out. Hey, game's over. It ain't over.
Well, listen, in a perfect world, it was set up beautifully for Betancourt in that it was 6, 7, and 8. Callaspo, Jimmy Rollins, who is not swung the bat like Jimmy typically does, Chris Heisey, and then you had Turner. But now you have Guerrero, and hopefully that's it, because Adrian Gonzalez is on deck.
That's the guy you don't want up. I can just tell you, I'm not going to give you those numbers.
You know, we so often mention it. It becomes a cliche in sports, whether it be baseball or basketball late in the game, a guy on the free throw line. There is no substitute for experience.
You're right.
And Betancourt has a lot of it.
And experience of getting the last 3 outs of an end of a game.
Absolutely.
And not experience in the 7th, 8th, the last 3 outs of a ball game, and he's got just that. Calm, cool, collective. Hopefully he does the job here.
2 outs, bases loaded. 0-1 on Alex Guerrero. Typically in these situations, George, and you were in these, if you're going to get beat, you're going to get beat with a pitch away.
And you're going to get beat with your best pitch. Don't get beat with your 4th best pitch. You get beat with number 1 or number 2. So many guys on the mound at times go, oh, I'm going to trick you. Trick your way right into a loss.
8-5 Colorado. Here's the 1-1. Fouled off, and it's now 1-2. Mattingly agonizing.
Hey, you spot Greinke to a 4-0 lead. You're feeling pretty good about it, you know.
That's usually a game, set, match.
Right. It wasn't tonight here at Coors Field.
One and 2 on a Guerrero. In the air to center field and deep. Charlie leaps. Can't get it. Unbelievable. Guerrero with a grand slam on a 1-2 pitch. And the Dodgers lead at 9-8. Can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. For Guerrero, that is his 10th home run and now has 25 RBIs. 3 base hits, 2 good outs. You're thinking you're in a pretty good position on an 0-1 count. And a pitch from Raphael trying to go to that outside corner. Dead heater, ran right back to the middle, and he didn't get cheated. It was dead center. Folks, when he hit this ball out of there, Walt Weiss making that long walk into the pitcher's mound to making a change here with Raphael Betancourt.
Wasn't playing a whole lot early on, and then when he got an opportunity, it seemed like every night he was hitting a home run. Well, he just burned the Rockies with a grand slam on a ball just out of the reach of Charlie Blackmon in dead center field. The Rockies next inning will have Tulowitzki, Gonzalez, and Arenado, so the right guys against Kenley Jansen. But first things first, you got to get that final out. Tommy Kahnle on. Adrian Gonzalez at the plate. And that fastball's in there for a strike.
Last night he was up to 98 miles an hour. That last fastball was 98. Look out. Oh, man, I hope that didn't hit anybody. I hope that hit a chair. Yeah, still checking. They gave the thumbs up. It looks like everybody's okay.
1-2. Two and two on Gonzalez.
Headache coming back the other way. Starting to duck.
Kenley Jansen on the disabled list for most of this season till very recently. He made his return actually against the Rockies. Colorado was out there 2 weeks ago. Foot injury. 3-2. Loses Gonzalez. That'll bring up Yasmani Grandal. Eighth man to hit here in the top of the ninth inning for the Dodgers. And see Howie Kendrick in the on-deck circle. That's where the pitcher spot is now located. 5-hole. Grandal 1 for 4 tonight.
Well, what it feels like to throw 98 in 99.
You know more about that
well,
than I would.
I didn't know anything about it. You know what? It's funny. I remember the two hardest pitches I ever threw in my life at the big league level. One was to Cal Ripken on a strikeout in Baltimore. It was 96. The other was in St. Louis against Jack Park, and it was 96.
And that was before they flashed him up on the screen. Somebody had to tell you later, right?
Yeah, Jim Palmer actually walked up the next day and goes, "What got into you in the game?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You struck Cal out on 96."
0-2, and that's going to drop. Boy, this has turned into a disastrous inning. About that for an understatement.
Yeah, it was an understatement. I mean, just three singles, and then you got 2 outs, and man, you're feeling good.
And your head
excited.
1 and 2 on Guerrero.
And then you get, fastball just ran back. Nothing you can do about it.
The Dodgers sending the 9th man to the plate here. Now you got to keep it a 1-run affair. It's tough enough facing Kenley Jansen. Two and one. Callaspo started it with, at the time, not thinking much, just a base hit up the middle. That's fine. You're up 3 runs.
A ground ball double play. Get the next guy out. You're downstairs. You're walking. The media's happy. You're high-fiving. Man.
Two. Yeah, that's high. 3 and 2. He's come in to get 1 out, and he's thrown 19 pitches now.
Well, it's always been kind of the bugaboo for him, even when he was in the Yankee organization. He took a big arm as a Rule 5 pick that threw 95 to 98 miles an hour. But the walks were pretty prevalent. And last year they were able to go through 54 appearances. They'll walk to load the bases here. And I mean, it's just a 1-run game. Walt doesn't have anybody up down there in the bullpen because he had to use a lot of guys, hoping Canely can get the last out. There was nobody on base when Walt brought him in. But, Foster's going to make a quick jog to the mound just to have somewhat of a conference with him here. You're still just down 1. You can't mess around here.
He got at the plate. George, a guy who, he's a scrappy guy. He doesn't expand. He's not. If you don't throw him a strike, he won't swing.
Started the inning with a line drive. They're going to make you throw strikes. I don't care how hard it is.
As depressing as that grand slam was to watch, you still had the feeling it's a 1-run game, and it's still a 1-run game right now.
Can't let it get away from you.
That's in danger with the bases loaded and Callaspo at the plate, and that's nowhere near the zone.
Well, and the other thing, Callaspo, and normally he crowds the plate a little bit, but not like this. I mean, if you looked at it from where I'm sitting back here, watch when he gets in the box a little bit. Because you got a guy on the mound that's walking people, standing right on top of the line. Elbows are right on the edge. Hey, come on, give me a fastball to hit here. Try to disrupt anything you can with Tommy Canely right now. You got to be pretty quick. If you're going to crowd the plate, you better be really quick to turn on 98.
One. And that's the strike. 1 and 2. And we've been here before this half inning with Canely. He's worked ahead of a couple hitters. He just hasn't been able to get what's become a very elusive final out here in the top of the ninth. Five hits, 2 walks in the inning, and it's 2-2. Pitches, 11 strikes, 10 balls for Canley.
You know, I know it's frustrating for Steve Foster. It's frustrating for everybody. You got a guy throwing 98. If you could get the ball in the strike zone consistently, you know how special that is? Particularly last year, man, they had a plus changeup to go with it. You know, let's get this out, third out here in the ninth. Hopefully get a couple in the bottom.
And now it's full. Center field, Blackman is there. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth inning. It remains a 1-run game. Troy Tulowitzki will lead it off. The Rockies were a strike away with an 8-5 lead, and then Alex Guerrero, who had just stepped into the ball game in the 8th inning, hits a grand slam to dead center field. Troy Tulowitzki had broken up a 5-5 tie with a 2-run home run in his last at bat, and he will take on Kenley Jansen. Jansen was out with a foot injury till a couple of weeks ago. This is how good he's been since he's returned. There's only been one guy to reach base against him. That was the guy on deck for the Rockies, Carlos Gonzalez. How did he reach? He struck out, but the ball got away from the catcher, and he reached on a strikeout wild pitch. He is not allowed a hit or issued a walk in 5 appearances. Rockies trying to change all that. It'll be Tulowitzki, Gonzalez, Arenado initially. Hopefully more to follow.
Tulowitzki 3 for 10 in his career, no home runs. 9 strikeouts in 5 innings, almost 2 per inning.
And he's well rested because they didn't need his participation last night. And the Rockies won the afternoon game 6-3.
Man, part of that is too. That's okay, but you know, sometimes when you are rested, you overthrow the baseball. His first offering was not overthrown at all.
2 strikes on Troy.
It's 10 games at Coors Field, 12 1/3 innings, 10 hits, an earned run average of 5.11, 7 earned runs. He had walked 6. Not the same guy, apparently, in those other 10 ball games.
Nine-8 Dodgers on the grand slam by Alex Guerrero. And Troy with another quality swing.
They're sitting right on top of it, I'll tell you that. That's pretty good.
Jansen is in fact really well rested. He hasn't thrown in 8 days. Last appearance was against the Braves on May 25th. Troy looks like he's seen him well. 1-2. Bottom of the 9th inning. Ground ball, foul.
Not happy at all with that inside fastball called a strike. He fought off a number of really tough pitches. We're going to look at it on the strike zone and see where this is on the Subaru Super Bowl. Chris Guccione rang him up. I think it may have caught enough of the plate. It appears to be in, though. I'd like to get an overhead shot of that if we have it. See where that is. That's where Tulo upset with that call. And the fourth strike zone actually showed it. I agree with it.
Here's Cargo with 1 out. And that's a rocket to right center. It's cut off there. Bobbled for a moment. Cargo's going to move up.
And that's huge.
That is enormous. Bobbled out there by Chris Heisey. And Cargo's in scoring position with 1 out. And they're going to score in a straight double. Doesn't matter. Who cares? He's on second base.
First 3 hit games.
First hit against Jansen this year. It's the first 3-hit game for Cargo in 2015.
And Nolan Arenado will step in. He's 1 for 4 against Jansen in his career. And a ball missed totally by Heisey, just called up today. I don't think they're still going to hold Cargo up, though. I think he would have got there either way.
So the Rockies have some life. Nolan Arenado, who's had an extraordinary week. 1 for 4 here in the nightcap. Doubled in a run in game 1. 2 for 4 in game 1. 8 runs, 15 hits for the Rockies in a ball game started by Zach Greinke. Here's the 1-0. We got 2 hot hitters back to back. We have Arenado Ben Paulson.
Sometimes when you haven't faced someone, and Ben Paulson has not, it works to your advantage. If that person has dominated you as a hitter, you obviously you think it's going to fall your way at some point.
Arenado.
Backup slider.
Yeah,
that's fastball. He registered 96 miles an hour. Arenado didn't like the call either. On the 4th strike zone, it catches a little bit of the zone, but I think Nolan looked back to see where Grandal was, and he wanted outside corner, and it was inside in a reach back court.
1-2. Smash to short. Knocked down by Rollins. He'll still get the out.
Lord, he couldn't hit that ball any harder.
Nope.
Oh, my goodness. Jimmy Rollins is like, I'm glad that hit leather. I mean, that thing was crushed by Nolan Arenado. Oh, my goodness. Nolan, you can't hit any harder than that. Man, oh, man. There's a one-hop line drive. Just Jimmy tried to knock it down. He was able to pick it up and make the throw to first base. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah,
Subaru Super Bowl, that's nuts.
He's just fortunate, as you said, George, it hit leather.
Well, it didn't go through the leather, one of the two. My gosh, that was something else.
Rick Honeycutt at the mound. He's going over the scouting report on Ben Paulson. Paulson, a strikeout, a walk, a single, and a fly ball to center field. He had a home run in game 1. That would work well here. So here we go. Paulson against Kenley Jansen, the tying run at 3rd in Cargo. The 0-1. And called strike 2 on the outside corner, perhaps a little bit off. That ball almost got away.
Holy cow. Yeah, he got a little bit of the, call a bit about the yips going back to the mound that time. Holy cow. Stan got a chuckle out of Sammy up here. Look at this. Here, let me just flip back to you. I got it. Don't worry about it. Whoa. Hey, what are you doing? Everybody's running into the mound. Yeah, you just hope that Gonzalez is watching, because you know what? Just a bobble off the hand rolls away. Got to remember, that marks in the memory book no matter what. You know, on a soft toss back.
2 strikes on Paulson. Set up extremely outside. And look, Jimmy Rollins is, I mean, he keeps running in. Yeah.
The double flip back, that's like 10 and under, you know, make sure you back up the throw every time.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, maybe Jimmy knows something the rest of us don't.
One, 2. Got to keep in mind, Jansen's not easy to catch. That fastball moves a lot, And when the Rockies were in LA, he had a couple of pitches that glanced off strike three, third strikes that glanced off catcher's gloves and allowed the Rockies to reach. 2-2. Bad tip held, and the Dodgers win it 9-8. And you talk about kick in the gut losses. This is the most painful loss of 2015 without question for the Rockies. They were one strike from sweeping the Dodgers in a doubleheader, up by 3 runs.
Tell you the truth, these are the kind that just crawls at you so much. And you see Troy standing there looking out on the field, so fired up after the home run, so in tune with this thing's going to work. And then all of a sudden they come back and you see the 3 straight base hits and then the grand slam on top of that. And after a hard-fought ball game against one of the better National League pitchers in Zach Greinke, the Rockies unfortunately are going to come up short. Josh Raven will get his 1/3 of an inning Major League debut. Also going to get his first Major League win tonight.
Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Bases loaded, 1-2 pitch. Alex Guerrero in his first at bat in the nightcap. Hits it to dead center field and just over the outstretched glove of Charlie Blackmon. And Rafael Betancourt can't believe it. Turned an 8-5 lead into a 9-8 deficit and ultimately a 9-8 loss. Let's go to center field. Jenny Cavnar. Jenny.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. It felt like a turning point game here for the Rockies. Unfortunately, things don't end up their way. They split the doubleheader today. Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, we will wrap up Game 2, and we will set you up for tomorrow. The Rockies still have a chance to split this series with the Dodgers. The Toyota postgame show is next.